Sticking with Big Bad Toy Store exclusives, they posted up an sticking with alternate. Welcome back. They posted up an alternate color deco for the Boss Fight Studio Saurozoic Warriors range bracket. An alternate color deco for that thing for the Boss Fight Studio Saurozoic Warriors. Saurozoic. Sticking with Big Bad Toy. They posted up an alternate color deco for the. I'm out of practice. That'll teach you to go out of town for a weekend. The Boss Fight Studio Saurozoic. Sticking with Big Bad Toy Store exclusives, they posted up an alternate color deco for the Boss Fight Studio Saurozoic Warriors range Brachion. I was this close. Okay, people, welcome back to another Fwoosh Weekly. As always, I'm Robo, and you missed me? Because I missed you. I missed this, and I never realized how much until I skip an episode of the weekly, and then I'm thinking, oh. But the reason I missed last week was because of PowerCon, and it was absolutely amazing. So many people coming by the booth, look at the skeleton, just ramble on a little bit about toys with Veebs, and I pointed at myself. It was just a whole hell of a lot of fun. And on top of being my first time in Columbus, hell, my first time in Ohio, it was my first PowerCon. And I wasn't expecting the tight-knitness of it. Every time I turned around, it was somebody knowing somebody else, or have you met this person, and this whole group of people, and at the hotels, everyone just knows. It was a cool feeling. Like it was just one big happy family getting together after a long time of not seeing each other, and then, you know, little old me and hey, I like toys too. But as much as I miss this, as much as I'm excited to be back, there's also a stressiness to coming back to the weekly because I'm gonna miss stuff, and that's normal. Hell, that's normal when I don't skip a week or two. Let's ease back into it with the obvious choice. The Fwoosh Toys skeletons. And I hate to come off all self-promotional. In fact, I absolutely hate that. But I can't. I'm excited about these. I'm loving them. Yes, I'm part of the behind-the-scenes production process. But at the same time, I only laid hands on these a couple of weeks ago at San Diego. And you know me, things don't burn in until I'm actually holding something in my hand. And at that point, it was like, oh, well, did we do this? I know that comes off as please buy our product. I'm not trying to do that. How about this? I'm proud of these so far. That's how I'll put it. And while there's a lot of ideas floating around at the moment, it's the skeleton, it's several hand options, it's more than a few head options, and then if you pre-order it right now, you get a bonus of the pumpkin head. I'll be shooting video of this next week for range of motion, a closer look at the paint job, what's going on with the extras, trying not to get all, ooh, ooh. It's just going to be a straightforward, here is this. Okay, I'll probably have a little fun with it. You know what I mean? $40 a piece, I know, but it's all new tooling. And it's not as big a run as, you know, some of the big companies. And then hoping to ship sometime near the end of the year, the first of next year. That's what we're shooting for. We saw the MDLX Transformers Megatron on display at an overseas show a few weeks ago. God, time is just... This week, ThreeZero gave us a pretty promotional shot, and it's just this one, but that's all they needed. Give me an action shot, and I get more excited. This line needs to keep going. It needs more than just the main characters. We have Bumblebee, we have Optimus Prime, we now see Megatron. Hot Rod's next, I think. We need more. Super 7 kind of went on a tear. I have to keep reminding myself that it's been 2 weeks, not just 1 week. So it was a steady flow of Ultimates news from Super 7. They started off with Lemmy from Motorhead, and... Okay, I know, I'm about to lose some cred here, but I was never much into Motorhead. Oh, I'll pick out Ace of Spades, and I know the WWE Triple H connection. For this, there's a slight animated feel to it, but that's kind of the Ultimates thing. You know what I mean? That's their aesthetic. They're not hyper-articulated. There's a smoothness to them. Again, that's Super 7. If you reach into a toy box pull out a figure and just go, oh, yep, that's Super 7. But it's still unmistakably Lemmy. And I think the expression on this face just sells it. That was followed by SpongeBob SquarePants Wave 2 of Patrick and Squidward. Yeah, articulating cartoon characters with tubes for limbs can be tricky. I'm gonna give them a break. I'm surprised by the amount of accessories. Some I recognize, some I don't. Some I clearly see are missing. I gotta think it's a nightmare to pick something like this for a show like this because there's so much they could put into here. And picking and choosing, you gotta think, oh, well, let's put this in, but we have to leave that out. Oh, but I want... I'm interested to see how these scale next to Wave 1 SpongeBob and Sandy because, whew, SpongeBob's big. He's large. But the Ultimates figure I'm most excited for at the moment is the Big Bad Toy Store exclusive Thundercats Clear Tigra. This is just one of those variants that make complete sense because Tigra could turn invisible. Boom. Done. Yes, we still need Jaga in ghost form. In fact, I prefer Jaga in ghost form, but that can come later. There's always room for more exclusives. For the moment, ooh, this got my eyeballs. I absolutely love the translucency, and then the touches of white, like on the hair and the stripes and the belt and the boots in places, just to kind of sell the effect. But we have to keep in mind that these are renders. It makes me wonder what the final factory piece is going to be like. I gotta think it's going to be slightly more cloudy, or if it is this clear, we're going to see some joints in there, right? I mean, the pegs, the hinges, everything. That's just a given. All of these are $55 due out summer of 2023. Sticking with Big Bad Toy Store exclusives, they posted up an alternate color deco for the Boss Fight Studios Saurozoic Warriors range Brachion. Same retro humanoid dinosaur feel as the rest of the line, but it's grunged up with a black and white Nightlands war paint scheme. Everyone knows you put a skeleton on an action figure, it just raises its badassedness. Pair that with the purple and green overlays and it just... $35 scheduled for next year. McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse line is going back to Arkham City with both Batman and Penguin. At least those are the two we know about so far. I say that because this is part of a build-a-wave, so they have 2 more characters to reveal before the... What are they going to build? With Batman, I don't have the first one, so I don't know exactly how much of this is reuse. I hear talk that there is reuse, but the new head looks awesome. The whited out eyes, you can just call it detective mode. Single elbows, though? I mean, come on, even Penguin got double jointed elbows in a jacket sleeve. But then he got hinge and swivels at the knees, so it's a trade-off. It just depends on the design, I guess. And an umbrella? How did this deadly weapon get past the WB lawyers? No, we've been speculating for a couple years now that anytime there's a missing accessory, it's because of WB. Because Oswald's umbrellas are weapons, and sometimes they have triggers on them, so we just automatically thought maybe they're lightening up a bit? Or maybe Todd just doesn't give a shit. Of course, we can't make a call until we see an actual gun in the line, and then we'll go, But it's good to see some accessories, even if it is just an umbrella, you know? It's the little things. This week, Sentinel posted up the full spread for their fighting armor Loki, and I'm liking this way more than I thought I did. Because we've seen this before at shows, but give me all the promotional images, give me a closer look, give me some high res, and I can see that this really works for this suit of armor. I've been gravitating towards the Figuarts Tech on Avengers because they're a bit more individual character to character instead of essentially the same body with those character traits laid on top of them. But Loki's basic design just lends itself to that concept. I mean, all you need is the helmet horns, some green, some gold, and it's Loki. Without those specific things, it's just a drab-looking Iron Man armor. At the same time, I don't know. It's subdued. It's striking. The coppers, the dark colors, the golds. And I guess I missed the solicitation of Thor at some point because now he's popping up in these promo pics and I don't like him as much. I'm all for contrast and crazy color schemes, but the light gray is jarring. It overpowers the rest of the design. Should have been more blue. Or maybe, well, they didn't care about top to bottom because with Loki, they put most of it up top, darker colors down low. For Thor, they could have put blue and then Maybe the light gray for here? I guess they're going for the movie designs, huh? I should probably plan ahead for these kind of things. You know, research beforehand. That's not near as fun. Loki, though, $105, scheduled for February. The links are in the description. One day after the last weekly, Bandai posted more information for their SH Figuarts Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, aka Tobey Maguire from No Way Home. We've already talked about the unmasked head and the pretty poses being way more tempting than the initial reveal of just thrown into a case. And we've talked about the oddness of the crotch covers. With great pictures comes great responsibility on our part to not just pre-order the next shiny thing we see in the window. But then they hit us with this. Pointing fingers? That's not fair. That's like a group. That's a shelf. That's a display. That's pre-made. That's ready to go. They can do the thing. They did the thing. On top of that, it also gives us a better look at the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. And again, there's a group. If I get that, I gotta get that one, right? And if I'd have got that one, that's 2/3. I might as well get the other one too. Damn it, Bandai. Along with all that information, they also announced that the Garfield Spider-Man would be solicited early September, February release date, and then Final Battle Tom Holland pre-order opens late September and scheduled for next March. Are they holding off on showing the unmasked heads there too? Has there been a holdup, like likeness rights? Because again, like we talked about in the last weekly, the Tobey Maguire heads popped up on both Figuarts and Hot Toys the exact same day. Almost like, oh, now we can reveal it. Or are they doing all this right in the midst of the movie getting a super duper extended version released in theaters in the next month or so? Synergy, or is it just pure dumb coincidence? 99% of the time with things like this, it's not pure dumb coincidence. It was planned. Whatever though, just show me more toys. I want an Andrew Garfield head, and I also want another Tom Holland head. More sweet nothings, Bandai. Whisper them. I know I was about to turn that way, but I guess I better say that Spider-Man's up for pre-order right now. It's $95 on Big Bad Toy Store. To be released, I'm guessing January, sometime around the first of the year. On the Hasbro front, quite a bit of Marvel Legends news, even though San Diego was just 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, something like that. It was recent. Coming out of that show, the first announcement was the Venom 3-pack. This finishes off the main Life Foundation with Agony and Riot, and then, of course, there's a Venom. Eddie reuses the body from the animated version that came out sometime last year, but the cell shading has been removed. New head, new shoulder hole tendril plugs. And yeah, I know it was Omega Red first. I'm not going to give full medical histories of every body they want to rehash. Unfortunately, this was Amazon exclusive and it's already sold out, but I'll bet you cents to symbiotes that it's going to pop back up around release time. Then this week, the boys hosted a fan stream on Hasbro Pulse where they recapped the San Diego reveals while adding new figures to the mix. At SDCC, I kind of assumed that Human Fly and Razorback were going to be part of a wave. But nope, during the live stream they said it's an Amazon 5-pack, and they're throwing in Molten Man, Silvermane, and an Ultimate Spider-Man with some purple hue to it. Now I get it. Human Fly and Razorback are insanely popular with the collector crowd and unanimously accepted by everyone online. They were like, hell yeah, give me Razorback. I know exactly who that character is. So Molten Man and Silvermane seem kind of softball by comparison. Molten Man's fine. I'm one of those people who likes the swirly twirly. It makes it feel comic booky and stuff. And I also always preferred him being smooth rather than on fire. But my mental image has him bigger, Namor-ish. In fact, in a lot of his appearances, he has the same scaly trunks as Namor. So I feel like that would have been a better base body. And then Silvermane reuses the old Marvel Legends Ultron Ultimate Beetle's body. You can tell by the bumps and the shape and everything, which is fine. I don't hate this, but man, it would have been nice to get that classic android body that he wore in a lot of the comics. You know, with the pipes and the tubes and the innards exposed. You can see his heart through it. That would have been pretty sweet. For Spider-Man, it's odd to throw the Ultimates version in with some very, very, very classic 616 villains. But at the same time, I don't have a purple Spider-Man. Here comes the part where, oh, well, he's going to justify that purchase. I got to get Razorback. That's what it comes down to. And I also like Human Fly. I was that kid eating cereal, reading the handbooks, and just random Spider-Man comics and other things that my mom just picked up at the comic shop that week, you know? They didn't stop there. They also rounded out the Disney Plus Wave 2 that they also started at San Diego. At the show, they showed He Who Remains, Classic Loki, and Howard the Duck. But then, this week, there's What If Red Skull, Zombie Iron Man, Zombie Scarlet Witch, and Jimmy Woo. Look, there's the card holding a hand from the tease from a live stream a while back. I can't give you exact dates, shut up. I always feel like the non-superhero type characters are risky in waves, and they have to be strategic where they plug them in, but we need a Jimmy. Red Skull is the previous MCU figure with a new animated style head, and I will say that the brighter red does pop. When I saw this picture, I looked up on the shelf of my Red Skull in my MCU display, and I had to, wow, that wash, it's kind of dark, which is MCU-ish and live action, I get it. But when I'm looking back and forth, it's like, well, this isn't going to replace this, but Zombie Iron Man ups the creepy factor because, I mean, that episode was zombies. At this point, I can't tell what is reused between Iron Man figures, but they did make sure to show some exposed bone in places. And then, of course, there's the head. That's definitely new. But I think my favorite is Zombie Scarlet Witch. It just ups that witch factor, and it doesn't hurt that we're hot on the heels of Multiverse of Madness. And this wave's Build-A-Figure is Khonshu. This just looks fantastic with the sculpted bandages and the wraps and the translucent plastic between the head and the body to make it look like it's floating. This will make an excellent centerpiece along with Wave 1's Moon Knight and Mr. Knight, and Dwight even made sure to line those all up. There's not a lot of color pop here, but they look amazing. And then, as always, they ended the stream with a tease, and this one's a bit more apparent, a bit more easier to guess than some of the past teases. That's Turg from Future Foundation. I don't read the story, but I see a lot of comic covers, and man, is this one step closer to getting, like, more Moloids, or Dragon Man, or parts of Power Pack, or Ardian Leech? Am I wishlisting off one head in a jar? Yes. Yes, I am. As always, leave it to Preternia.com on Twitter to dig up the tastiest Fortnite Victory Royale series news. Thanks to John, we now have our first look at Wave 4, starting with Renegade Shadow, who had a listing a while back. Well, I say that, I think most of these have had listings at some point, just no pictures. I can't keep track of all the stealth pre-order listings for this line. It's just, it's hit, gone. Yeah, you want? No, here, there you go. Once again, Robo don't know Fortnite. So this, on my shelf, will be like a mercenary to go along with Deadpool or Maverick or somebody. Or a rival smuggler trying to steal Han's cargo. Yeah. Same could be said for Mecha Fusion Lexa, who, well, she skews a little bit more sci-fi, so maybe she'll be my rogue law officer who wanders the galaxy dispensing her own brand of justice. Sludge will, of course, be Ripley's evil twin, because we've established that Ripley is a student at Xavier's school. The twist is that Ripley is actually the bad guy, and he's infiltrating the X-Men while also framing his brother Sludge. That's totally original. No, it's not. Finally, Potassius Peels, who needs no backstory. Foods, romance, country crocs, lend me your ears of corn. I think I saw that the ship date for these is near the end of this month, so it's playing that Fortnite game of hoping they just pop up randomly again, and I'll order them, and they'll ship, and they'll show up, and there we go. The Hasbro G.I.Joe team held a Q&A on the exact day that Veebs and I were traveling to PowerCon, so we missed out on it, but the biggest info out of that is 2 more leaked announcements, which is essentially just names of upcoming characters in the classified line. No pictures, no info, just the names. And this time around, it's the Range Viper and Big Ben. When they first started doing it like this, where it's a name, and then they'll show the digital render, and then the prototype, and then the solicitation, more pretty promotional pictures, I was kind of like, man, it's just another step in the reveal process. But now that it's happened a few times, I get it. It builds anticipation, it keeps characters on the radar for longer, and it cuts leaks off at the pass. That's just brilliant. If an overseas list gets out on the internet, or parts of a prototype that's not meant to show yet is on social media, they can just say, oh, well, we told you about that. Where have you been? Something a little bit more tangible, though. The HasLab Hiss campaign ends in a couple of days. Now, it's funded. All the extras are in, so there's not much else to do but sit back and watch it right off into the sunset and see how high it will go before it ends. With that, they showed more promotional pictures of dios and troopers and the inside and environment, and if I didn't already back this, I would have after these. It makes me think I definitely need more troopers, but on top of that, I'm fighting the urge to order a second when I don't even have room for the first. So, me, I'm gonna stick with one. But, ooh, unlimited space, unlimited money? How many would I get? So, just a few more days if you want to grab 1 or 7 or however many. That's on you. Maybe it's because I'm coming right out of PowerCon where it's no longer a specifically He-Man show, even though they had a hell of a lot of He-Man stuff there, but I saved the new Masters of the Universe Masterverse reveal for last. Well, that and it's one of my favorite characters. Too bad. I mean, this was just a fun toy when I was a kid, constantly making them punch the other in the face. Plus the blues and the purples and the orange on top of that. The design just sticks with you. It's also kind of scary when you think about it. I mean, it's 2 guys mashed just together into one. Can you imagine what's going on inside here? Let's not even think about other places. This is new Eternia, so it has some added things that were only seen in concept art from way back in the day. So that's cool. It adds to the overall feel. Then they also made them asymmetrical, kind of like 2000X, but backwards. And I really, really like that. It's gonna be harder for him to punch himself in the face, but you have to aim up. It's a classic design with a modern twist, like all of Masterverse mostly, so it's too bad. Don't have to say anything else. And that's all for this week. I'm standing by that statement. I am. But if we missed something, swing around next week, catch up. If you're interested in seeing any of these pictures up close without me all... Oh, that's right. That did happen. I'll be posting all of that, plus links to pre-orders, more information on the Fwoosh front page Saturday at noon. And I have to say, my brain's kind of scrambled at the moment because San Diego, come back to a weekly, leave for PowerCon, and anyone who goes to shows, or, well, it's been a while, but getting back into shows, I had forgotten just how positive people are when you're out and about in public. It was just a feel-good vibe at both shows, and then Celebration a couple of weeks before that, or a couple months? When was that? This summer. I have to retrain myself to come out of that fun bubble back to the real world, you know, back to the internet where there's opinions galore. Guys, you gotta remember, it's just toys. That's what we're doing. We're collecting toys. Calm the hell down. Try to enjoy yourselves a little. And I know I've said this on several weeklies in the past, but it needs to be reiterated every now and then. Try to enjoy yourself. Try to have a little fun. Try to distract yourself for a couple of moments in this dark, dark world. Because if you don't, you're just adding to the darkness. You're just adding to the misery. And nobody wants that. Seriously, nobody wants that. Now, I'm not saying you can't criticize something. I'm not saying you can't buy something and go, oh, whoa, this is kind of a piece of shit. I'm just saying, try to find a silver lining. Or, if this pisses you off, find something else that you do enjoy. Balance. And saying that, I guess I'm an overly positive person. I could stand to... Am I going to search out things to not like? Or, I know I'm going to hate that. I better give it a try and see what happens. I'm a happy guy. That's all I'm trying to say. And ain't nobody going to bring me down. Enough of that. If you enjoyed the Fwoosh Weekly, comment, like, subscribe. Much, much love to the plus. If you're interested in seeing videos early or in a position to help out the channel, patreon.com. But wherever you may be watching this, I'll always catch you on the Fwoosh. Oh, and I managed to go to PowerCon without spending a lot of money. I did get a vintage GoBots bug bite. I hated that line as a kid because I thought, well, it's just car parts in a robot. There's no head. There's no facial features to a lot of them. Give me Transformers. But my first car was a Volkswagen. I saw this in the glass case at Big Fun and thought, you know what? I'll buy this figure, and from now on, when I look at it, I'll think, that's when I was at my first PowerCon. That's when I was in Columbus, Ohio. And then Veeves actually bought me the Masters of the Universe Classics Filmation Spy Corps. The running joke for a while now was that I told him I wanted it when he was doing the ordering so we could save on shipping, and he didn't order it. But in fact, I told him I didn't remember Spy Corps and I didn't need them. Then when it didn't show up, of course I had to jump on that and go, why didn't you? I wanted Spy Corps. So when he found that at the show, he walked up to the table where we were and slapped it down and caused little holes in the table and stuff. That thing is a dangerous, dangerous weapon. I was kind of nervous about putting it in my carry-on because you can take that thing by the legs and just swing around and you're taking people out. Blood and guts and everything.